Hey guys, I want to do a response to my last video about errata. I saw a lot of really good feedback on there, and I want to say, honestly, a lot of you guys made some really good points. So while I may personally not favor errata, I do understand why it's necessary in some cases, and it's maybe it's not necessary, but maybe it's just one of the best options that we have. Because if you look at some of the other suggestions that you guys have said, well, like I had suggested, more creative solutions like, oh, well, maybe come up with another card that empowers everything else and kind of raises everything else up. And, that can lead to power creep. Even though, in a single instance, it may not be, complete power creep. If you make it a practice of doing that every time there's a perceived imbalance, it can lead to power creep. So I do recognize that. And I wanted to talk about, I wanted to thank you guys for the feedback. It's actually been really, really, really well. A lot of feedback. But I also wanted to think about one of the problems. Let's address one of the problems with errata, and that specifically in this case is the reprinted cards. How should they go about getting us the reprinted cards? And I want to talk about some of the ways that they have done that in the past and the successes and failures. So specifically Imperial Assault, right? They have come out with tournament promos with the new versions of cards for everybody. And there's some good things and some bad things about this. I'm going to use myself as an example. I didn't do a lot of Imperial Assault tournaments, so I never got a lot of these promo cards. And so fortunately I have some friends that were playing that gave me a couple of their extras. At least most of them. I think there's one I still don't have yet. But if I wanted to start doing tournaments now, I still have all the old cards. So maybe you collected the game for a while, you didn't feel like you were up for tournaments, and then over time, maybe a year or so passes, and now you finally feel like you're ready to do the tournament or whatever. Now you can't get those. So I don't know if giving them out as tournament promos is the best option, but it's certainly one option. A couple of other people have suggested the option of selling errata reprint packs. Initially, my first reaction to something like that is selling Errata'd Cards that seems horrible. All right, it seems completely horrible to me because now all of a sudden you have a conflict of interest, and we need to errata some more cards so we can justify creating another card pack for people to buy at $10 a pop or $5 a pop or whatever. So now that would throw everything into question. Are they errataing this just so they can sell us something else? So while selling a straight up errata pack is probably a bad idea, including errata cards in something that everybody's going to buy anyway, like the next time a core set comes out. So like with the Force Awakens core set for X-Wing, which is the second core set, what they should have probably done is included every single card that had been errated as a reprint to go in there, because the cost of the individual cards can't raise the cost of the expansion by more than a few cents, I'm guessing. So that's a cost they should just eat for, especially for lack of playtesting for certain cards that are still relatively new that have to be errated. So, with new stuff, they should know right away. So they don't have my sympathy for that. But you do have my sympathy for something that's been around since Wave 1, and then by Wave 11 it needs some errata. Okay, I can understand there. Maybe you did proper playtesting, but over who would have thought that a game would have lasted this long? I can give you some forgiveness there. But they should definitely include them in any new core set or major release. In the case of Armada, I would say they should include all of the errated cards in the next campaign. So like the Corellian Conflict would have been a really good opportunity for them to include a whole bunch of cards that were errated, although I don't think there was really any hard errata for Armada at the time. But the next time they do come out with and you should probably, how many copies of each card do you include is really the question. I'm inclined to think 4 copies of every errated card, and especially cards like XI7 turbo lasers, or in the X-Wing maybe Predator, that one isn't errated, but Palpatine. Well, Palpatine is one. If it's a unique card, you only need 1, but if it's like the heavy sick, you should get 4 of those, right? Like they gave you and a good example in the large ship in the Sea Rock, we got 4 titles for the light heavy sick cruiser, or actually I think it was like 6 or something like that. But it was you get in the Raider, you get 4 titles for the TIE Advanced. So they're in the 4 seems to be a magic number for a long time, because a lot of times they'll give you 4 of stuff, and a lot of times for most ships that 4 is the most you can fly, or for a lot of ships anyway. And 4 is just like kind of a magic number for me. I usually never go above 4 of anything, except in the case of Architans or TIE Advanced for the for X-Wing, because I bought like 7 TIE Advanced, but that's a long story. We can talk about that another time. It was almost an accidental purchase. But so if they give you 4 copies of every Errata'd card in a major expansion that they expect everyone will buy, and I think that for Armada, the closest equivalent we have right now is the Corellian conflict, although granted not everybody is buying that, but if they give you 4 copies, maybe you only need 2, and you can give the rest to your friend. So maybe something like that. And I think if they're going to do that, they could even consider alternate art on them to make them stand out. This way, you're not just getting the same thing. I used to play a game called Doomtown, and this was a living card game, although it wasn't called an LCG because it was made by AEG. And they used to Errata'd cards all the time. But with an LCG, you kind of have to buy every expansion because it comes with virtually everything you need. Like the expansions for Doomtown came with 4 of every card. It was like the max number of everything. So you only ever needed to buy 1 of every expansion. And they only had 1 every couple of months, or like every 2 or 3 months. And so whenever there was an errata, the very next expansion came with the errata with all the Errata'd cards that happened during the previous cycle. So if you bought 1 of every expansion, you would have every errata that they would ever had, and so that was, it wasn't in place of a card that they were going to do. This was in addition to. So they were giving it out to you for free as long as you were keeping up with the game. And if you were a serious player, I think that might be the comfortable middle ground, is you include all of the errata with a certain wave. Now, in a game like X-Wing or Armada or Imperial Assault, certain players may only play 1 faction. So in a game, in an LCG, you buy the expansion pack, it has all the stuff for all the factions. So it's not like, we're going to miss half the population if we only include the errata in the Rebels, card or something in the Rebels expansion pack. So you would have to be an expansion pack that all factions are going to buy. So in the case of X-Wing, if they ever do another core set, or some type of primer set, if they ever do a ground game. I need to do another video about ground games because I'm building up some talking points on that. It's got to happen. It's got to happen soon. But yeah, so I think that would be a good point for them to just reprint every Errata'd card that's in the FAQ. I mean, it's something like 14 cards or something crazy. But certain cards need the errata more than the other ones, like the ones that have serious changes, like the Heavy Sick. They gave us 1 in the Sea Rock, but like, why not give us like multiples? If you're already expecting us to have, 6 M3A interceptors, why not give us the 6 Errata'd Heavy Sick titles? That bothered me, and that's kind of one of the things that led to this talking point. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think is the best way for them to get us Errata'd cards, if that's what we end up having to do? How should they do it? Should they offer just PDFs for us to print on demand? Because in some cases they have given us the full card. In other cases they've just told us what's going to be in the card. Like if you open up the FAQ right now, it's going to show you the original card, and then it's going to show you the text next to it. Only in some cases, it's like 50-50, whether a card, they're actually going to show you the new card. If they do a whole web article about the changes, then they're going to show you the new card, and they will have actually put it together, and then you can print it. Some people have actually gone and made entire websites with like all the like alternate art and like a front and back for all the Errata'd cards. In the back, like explains the change and why it was made, and like is almost like a mini FAQ printed on the back. The name escapes me of who did that, but if you search for it, I know on the FFG forums, one of the forum users there made a really, really nice site if you want to print out your own cards. And so I guess they already have a community to do that, or should they just give them out for free in the next big release that everybody's going to buy? And should they give 4? Should they give only 1 of each? Should they give way more than that, or should they give a lot so only one person has to buy it and they can give it out to their friends? Or should they keep doing them as tournament promos? I kind of would almost rather the tournament promos be different cards, and stick to the alternate art. Or do you like the alternate art on the Errata'd cards, or would you rather the errata be the original art? So I'm curious to hear what you guys' preferences are, and I want to close with one random fact, Star Wars related but not gaming related today. I think I figured out Yoda's true name, and it's Yoda's actually his last name, and his first name is actually Yusik. I think he pronounces it you seek. So watch Empire Strikes Back again. He does it kind of like when he introduces himself, he says Bond, James Bond, right? The James Bond, but he says Yoda, you seek Yoda. So I think that he was giving us his full name in disguise. I'm joking around, but wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if they actually came out and said, all right, that's the silliness aside. That's your daily joke for the day. You can tell your friends. I'm a dad, so that's a total dad joke, and I apologize. I do apologize for that. Unless you liked it, in which case, feel free to use it. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the little alerts button. Or it's on this side. It's on this side, yeah. And hit the alerts button to get notifications when everything new comes out. And I hope you guys are having a great day. Let me know in the comments what you think. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And have a great day.